Hello, welcome. Another video. Sunny Cornwall, beautiful.
It's freezing.
Yeah, but this time I've got something. Well, all our videos are exciting, aren't they?
Yeah, that was what I was supposed to say, isn't it?
Right, so I had a bit of an issue with Garmin. I had a Garmin Navigator 6.
Still have it.
I still have it. Well, I don't have it. I have a new one. It took me over a month to get the replacement sent, but they did send me the replacement, which is good. Eventually, took a lot of phone calls, but we won't go over that. So I've decided to, rather than have Navigator 6, to get something a little bit different. No, it's not TomTom. I wouldn't have a TomTom on my bike if you paid me.
What? That's a bit outrageous.
Well, the reason...
I agree, obviously, but...
The reason for that is because TomTom, I think, for me, have tried to make their devices look too much like mobile phones. It's not a mobile phone, it's a sat-nav device, and it's too clunky and it's too awkward to work. Well, it's probably because I'm fitted up for Garmin, I don't know.
Can I just quantify that as well? On the TomToms,
Yeah.
when I've been with people on tour, they don't get the waypoints, the GPX files. They don't call them GPX files on a TomTom.
ITN, aren't they?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It misses waypoints. It's a TomTom tour, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
nightmare.
So I've gone for a Garmin.
Oh, hey.
Garmin XT.
Ooh,
Look at that.
Look at that.
Now this screen is immense. It's just like a mobile phone screen. Really quick.
Hang on. You just said you don't like TomToms because they're like mobile phones.
Yeah,
What's
but
going
this
on
isn't.
here?
This hasn't been set up like a mobile phone, and I just find TomTom's menu system really complicated. I just want to put it in and go. Garmin suits me. TomTom might suit other people. It doesn't suit me, so I wouldn't have one if you paid me. However, they can send them to us for review. I don't mind. But the XT, really, really nice unit. It's slimmer than the Navigator 6. It's got a bigger screen. It works with gloves on, without gloves on. It's really quick to connect, and it works really well.
You're wearing the gloves?
I'm not at the moment.
No. Okay.
But it works really well when I'm on the bike. However, their connection, as you can see on my bike, I have the preparation for the BMW Navigator on here. I didn't want to remove all of the standard stuff, although in the box for the XT, it comes with everything, RAM mounts, the mount for here, all the wiring, everything. But I didn't want to put all that on there, and it's not a review of the Garmin XT. There's loads of reviews out there. It does everything the Navigator 6 does with added bonuses. It's quicker, it navigates a lot better, I think. It's got a speaker on the back, which is really weird, so when I connect my music and turn my headset off, it powers out of there, so you can have a bit of a disco, I suppose.
Odd.
At the end of a ride with a few beers around your bike, I don't know. But it works really well. So it won't connect onto here. Bit of an issue, you might say.
That's a BMW thing, isn't it?
However, there is a company called 3D AM that actually does a 3D moulded adapter.
Ooh.
To take it from the standard Garmin or BMW Navigator 6 or 5 or whatever you've got, their connection, into the XT one. Now this round bit, this XT, this came with the XT. It's got the button to release it. It's only got 2 pins, whereas the other pin setup, as evidenced here, look, Mark.
I've got to go all the way over there?
Yeah, has got lots of pins. So what this adapter does, on the back, it's got numerous amounts of pins, and it converts that with a cable into your Garmin XT, which only uses 2 pins, and it just fits in there and it screws in. Instructions are really easy to follow, and they're in the box. But I wanted a way to fit it onto here. So not only do 3D AM provide this 3D printed mount, but they also provide this bit here. So the only thing I've had to take off my BMW preparation kit is this slider. Now, what they do is they provide a 3D printed slider with inside there, where my finger's touching, that locks the standard stuff. And then they've got this other prong, I would say,
bar
coming out that locks this bit here from being clicked.
Wow.
And once you've replaced that, and you know, it's the same screws, it's the same back plate, it's just this front plate, you just click it on, click it in, and it works by just sliding it underneath the Garmin bit to stop it coming off. So it's as secure as the BMW Navigator 6, although as we all know on motorbikes, if you've got a hex drive, you can take the bike apart when nobody's there, and you could just rip this off. But the same as the Navigator 6, isn't it? The only downside to this being, some people might not like this. So this Garmin just sits into its connector, and I like to do it this way because it goes on firmly. You fit it in, click it in, push the lever right in, and now I can't take it off. So it is secure on there, other than being wrenched off, but they're going to damage the unit. But it does sit quite proud, doesn't it? The Navigator 6 would have sat in here quite flush. However, there's a positive for this, because on the back there is a little button. And how many times have we all been on a ride and we've had to reset our sat-nav, turn it off, do a hard reset, or you know, hard reboot
on the Nav 6.
On the Nav 6.
Lots of times.
But you can't get to it because the button's hidden by the preparation kit. This one, I can put my finger in, hard press it, turn it off, turn it on, all that good stuff. So I don't mind it sitting proud. The only thing I don't like is this bit of cable that sticks down, and where I'm looking at the top of my screen is the little bits about how much fuel you've got, that sort of stuff, and it hangs down, and you get this little bung that goes over the pins rather than the hard plastic if you leave it overnight.
You can put that bung in your little box thing there.
I could do, but I found a little way of just ramming it up the side, and it stays there while I'm riding, so it's in out of the way. All I've got is this loop of wire. Might be something you can do about it.
I'd have to take that down.
Yeah, for people that have got OCD or don't like it, it could be a bit of a pain. But the screen is really vibrant, it's really quick, and it comes with this Garmin app. So where's my phone?
You and your apps.
I know. Now the Garmin app is called, what's it called? Garmin Drive it's called. Now, we go on tour, don't we, Mark, quite a bit. And as a tour company, we send all of the GPX or ITN, but mostly GPX files for every customer to put on their own sat-nav with all the waypoints and everything in it. Sometimes on the Navigator 6, you plug it into the computer, you could be waiting 5-10 minutes for the computer to recognise it's plugged in. Don't need to do that now.
Ooh,
what you could do, those GPX files are so small, they're just text files with all the route info on there. Send it to yourself on an email, open the email, click on it, share it with the Drive app, which syncs with this automatically because this has got Wi-Fi on it and Bluetooth, and it knows when you turn it on that it's got it installed.
Wow. I got a friend who's called Brian, who's got one of these XTs, and he phoned me before he went away to the Pyrenees last year. It must have taken us about an hour and a half trying to get a GPX file onto it. We did it in the end, but he reckons there's an algorithm in there that doesn't accept the GPX file, and it changed all the waypoints.
Ah, well, the answer to that, because I was playing around with it, you can export your GPX, depending on what program you use. We use My Route app for our tours. You can do it as a GPX 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and a whole host of others. Do it as 1.0, and that brings all of them in. But where your mate is probably getting a bit confused, because I was, is when you turn it on, I don't know whether you can see the screen because it's quite shiny, instantly turning it on, it gives you this agree screen. But if you go into your apps and go into your trip planner, not tracks, it will show you all of the stuff that you've loaded into the tracks via your GPX. They're not the ones you need to follow. If you go into the trip planner, into your saved trips, of which there are none here at the moment, you can select it and it will have all of your waypoints, but it needs to be the 1.0 I found, not the one that Garmin say is for the newer ones for some reason. It connects to your phone, it does everything you need to do, and there's another feature on here that you can track. So if you come back round again, Mark.
Oh, I've got to come all that way around there.
So when you're riding, you can press start and it will track how far you've gone, how long it's been, how long you've been moving, how much you've stopped, what your what do you call it? Direction is.
What's that? What was that?
Your current miles per hour, your average, all that good stuff. I don't use that. It's not something I want to see, but lots of people might use it. There's a whole host of different apps that you can have on here. You can have a bird's eye view on it as well. So you can go into your bird's eye on your map. So if you're viewing your map, if I had it selected, you could go onto your bird's eye and it would show you the satellite image for that square. Really, really clever. You've got your music, comes up really, really well. No judgment that I'm listening to that. It's German music. No judgment, please.
Not lift music.
It's really, really good. You can change your volume, all that sort of stuff. And up the top, you get all your notifications. So what your satellite signal is, whether you're car, off-road, motorcycle, that sort of stuff, time, temperature, connected to the Drive app, which looks like a circular road. You can also set in here your fuel tank settings. So for bikes that need to know, or they haven't got a fuel gauge on the bike, you can set it up for a certain amount of miles and that sort of stuff, so you can keep track of it in there and it'll alert you. Tells you the battery status. This one also has the ability that when you're riding along, it will show you that you've got a new notification, like a text or an email, that sort of stuff. I find that a little bit too much. When I'm riding, I don't want to know, so I've turned those notifications off. And lots of people say, how do we have this connected, don't they, Mark? I have this connected to my phone and this connected to my helmet. I don't do the three-way. So I've got the app to connect to here if I need to send GPX files. It sends notifications, although I never look at them. And then that sends the music to my headset. It controls the music really, really quickly on here, much quicker than the Navigator 6 did.
I never had it set up on mine.
So I've got all my music loaded on the phone. Don't ever load anything on here. I just find that easier. But to navigate is exactly the same way as you would normally have on any Garmin. You can go home, explore, favourites, address. But when you're looking for a location to go navigate to, you can have it on twisty routes. So if it's got this, now what's it called? Let's see if we can find something. Where should we go, Mark?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's go to Exeter.
Really?
Yeah.
That's in Devon.
I know.
Do you need a passport?
Let's go to, well, should we go to police headquarters? Now, right, so what you can do is you get the info on your journey. It tells you where you're going to be. It calculates it, but if I don't want to calculate it yet, the P will allow you to find parking nearby, so you can do that all before you go. You can find different routes, so it will give you different routes and you can select the one you want. But this is the button. So if I slide it all the way down, calculating up the top right hand side, when it does its stuff, it will say 1 hour 34 minutes, 94 miles. What I can do is get it twistier. If I go right to the edge, now it's going to be 2 hours 57 because it's going to find a really twisty route. You can add waypoints and add different places on there to the route, but you can also see the topical, is that what they call it, topical?
That'll do, that's close enough.
Yeah, whether you're going up and down, how high you're going to be going, different bits on your route. You can also look on here, not on this one, I'm going to come back out of there. You can have a look and see what the weather's doing if it's connected to your phone, what the traffic's doing. And as you're riding, the one thing that I found that I quite like, although I'm not sold on whether I like it or whether it's bordering annoying, you get a little orange bar that drops down and says you're coming into another speed limit in 200 yards, 100 yards, so it counts it down.
I switched it off.
It also comes down with a red one to say whether you're coming up to a speed camera. Now if you're touring abroad, turn that off because you will get an instant fine. Really easy to turn off. Love the unit, and I really love the fact that I've been able to use that bracket.
That's
really good bracket. All the links will be in the description. We've not got any affiliate links to any of them, but check them out. £344 as opposed to 700 quid for that unit.
Marvellous.
Really good. If it goes wrong, I'll send it back, but I can stomach 350 quid if it goes wrong later down the line, but not 700 quid. So get yours. You can fit something better and different to a BMW other than BMW stuff.
Ooh,
how cool is
easy,
that?
Ginger.
So like the video, give it a thumbs up, go get yours, navigate with us on a trip. Have a look in the links because you get a discount to all the trips and tours we do if you want to come on tour with both of us, and we'll see you in the next video.